Welcome back to the channel. Everyone, today, we are diving deep into a storyline that has absolutely set the tennis world, and particularly the global Filipino community, completely on fire. If you've been anywhere near social media, tennis forums, or international sports news networks over the last 48 hours, you have likely seen the headlines screaming from your screens. The titles are bold, the excitement is palpable, and the anticipation is reaching a fever pitch. One headline in particular caught everyone's eye, reading all of Germany celebrated. Alexandra Eala first match versus both Pinay Filkin Leylah Fernandez. Now, while the idea of an entire European nation shutting down to celebrate might be a touch of the sensationalism we often see in sports media, the core truth behind this monumental clash is every bit as thrilling as the headline suggests. We are standing on the precipice of a truly historic moment in women's tennis. On the prestigious indoor clay courts of the Porsche Tennis Grand Prix in Stuttgart, Germany, two incredible athletes connected by a shared heritage but representing different flags are set to collide for the very first time in a professional singles match. On one side of the net, we have the homegrown Philippine prodigy, the pride of the nation, Alexandra Eala. On the other side, the fiercely competitive, globally recognized Canadian star with deep Filipino roots, Leylah Fernandez. This is not just a first-round match at a WTA 500 event. This is a cultural milestone, a fascinating tactical battle, and a deeply emotional moment for millions of fans worldwide who see themselves reflected in the resilience, talent, and passion of these two young women. The atmosphere in Stuttgart is expected to be absolutely electric, fueled not just by the local German tennis aficionados who appreciate high-quality clay court tennis, but by the massive, passionate Filipino diaspora across Europe, who are traveling far and wide to witness this unprecedented event. For years, fans have debated, dreamed, and hypothesized about what would happen if these two left-handed dynamos ever crossed paths in a singles draw. The tennis gods have finally answered, delivering this blockbuster matchup right at the dawn of the European clay court swing. Think about the gravity of this moment. For the Philippines, a country with a rich sporting history dominated by boxing and basketball, tennis has historically been on the periphery. But Alexandra Eala has single-handedly forced a paradigm shift. She carries the weight, the hopes, and the dreams of over 100 million people every single time she steps onto the baseline. And facing her is Leylah Fernandez, a player who captured the hearts of the world during her miraculous run to the 2021 U.S. Open Final, a player whose mother hails from the Philippines, and who has always spoken with immense respect and love for her Filipino lineage. When these two walk out into the stunning Porsche Arena in Stuttgart, it will represent the culmination of years of hard work, sacrifice, and the undeniable rise of Asian representation at the highest echelons of the WTA Tour. The storylines write themselves. It is the rising challenger versus the established finalist. It is a Rafael Nadal Academy graduate looking for a signature main tour breakthrough against a seasoned tour veteran desperate to ignite her 2026 season. It is a battle of generations, styles, and sheer willpower. Over the next few minutes, we are going to break down absolutely everything you need to know about this monumental clash. We will dissect their respective journeys to this exact moment in time, analyze the intricate tactical nuances of a lefty versus lefty battle on indoor clay, look back at their recent doubles encounter that might hold the psychological key to this match, and explore the profound cultural impact this event is having across the globe. So, settle in, get comfortable, and let us embark on a comprehensive deep dive into the match that has everyone talking, the historic showdown between Alex Eala and Leylah Fernandez of the Stuttgart Open. To truly understand the magnitude of this impending duel, we must first trace the unique and fascinating trajectories that have brought Alexandra Eala and Leylah Fernandez to the clay courts of Stuttgart. Let us begin with Leylah Fernandez. The tennis universe was fundamentally altered in the late summer of 2021 when a fearless teenager from Montreal, Canada, captivated the crowds in Flushing Meadows. Leylah's run to the U.S. Open Final was nothing short of cinematic. She defeated a string of titans, including Naomi Osaka, Angelique Kerber, Alina Svitolina, and Aryna Sabalenka, wielding her racket like a magic wand, taking the ball impossibly early, and utilizing angles that seem to defy the laws of geometry. She peaked at a career-high ranking of world number 13 in 2022 and has secured 5 WTA Tour titles, cementing her status as a formidable force on the women's circuit. However, the path of a professional tennis player is rarely linear, and Leylah's journey has been characterized by brilliant peaks and challenging valleys. As we look at her 2026 season leading up to Stuttgart, it has undeniably been a period of turbulence. Currently hovering around the world number 25 mark, Leylah has struggled to find the consistent rhythm that defined her earlier successes. She has shown flashes of brilliance, such as her commanding opening victory in Charleston, but has struggled to string together consecutive wins, having not yet reached a quarterfinal this year. For Leylah, this match against Alexandra Eala is not just another first-round fixture. It is a critical juncture. She is a fiercely proud competitor who knows exactly what it takes to win on the biggest stages. The transition to the European clay presents an opportunity for a reset. Interestingly, while many associate her primarily with hard courts, Leylah is a former French Open quarterfinalist. She knows how to construct points on the dirt, how to slide, and how to use the heavier conditions to her advantage. She will enter the Porsche arena carrying the pressure of being the higher-ranked player, the established name, but also possessing the hunger of a champion looking to reclaim her rightful place at the top of the game. Now, let's turn our attention to the phenomenal Alexandra Eala. If Leylah's story is one of maintaining altitude, Alex's story is one of relentless, meteoric ascent. Born and raised in the Philippines, Eala relocated to Mallorca, Spain, at a young age to train at the prestigious Rafael Nadal Academy. That environment, steeped in the ethos of hard work, humility, and tactical brilliance, has molded her into a truly exceptional prospect. Alex first captured global attention by conquering the junior ranks, winning Grand Slam junior titles in both singles and doubles. But as any tennis aficionado knows, the transition from junior phenom to professional contender is the most perilous chasm in the sport. Countless talented teenagers have faltered under the weight of the Pro Tour. Eala, however, has navigated this transition with a maturity that belies her years. Currently ranked in the mid to high double digits, she is constantly knocking on the door of the WTA elite. Her 2026 campaign has been a testament to her growing resilience. While she faced early exits in Miami and Indian Wells, she recently reached the round of 16 at the Linz Open, demonstrating her capability to hang with the best in the world. Her match in Linz against former Grand Slam champion Jelena Ostapenko was particularly telling. Despite ultimately taking the loss, Eala showed tremendous grit, pushing the Latvian powerhouse to the absolute limit. Eala's game is built on a foundation of heavy, penetrating ground strokes. She possesses a lethal forehand, heavily influenced by the Nadal Academy Spanish clay court philosophy, capable of pushing opponents deep behind the baseline. But her greatest weapon might be her unparalleled mental fortitude. She embraces the pressure of carrying the Philippine flag, utilizing it as fuel rather than letting it weigh her down. The tactical matchup between these two is an absolute dream for tennis purists. It is incredibly rare to see a high-stakes encounter between two left-handed players, a dynamic that fundamentally alters the geometric landscape of the court. Both women are accustomed to using their lefty serves and forehands to exploit the weaker backhands of right-handed opponents. In this match, those traditional patterns are completely neutralized. They will be serving into each other's strengths and hitting cross-court forehands directly into the other's cross-court forehand. This means the match will likely be decided not by standard lefty advantages, but by court positioning, shot selection, and the ability to adapt on the fly. Leylah Fernandez is a master at taking the ball on the rise. She stands hugging the baseline, absorbing pace and redirecting it with surgical precision. She relies on exceptional footwork and anticipation to cut off angles and rush her opponents. Alexandra Eala, conversely, often prefers a slightly deeper court position, allowing her to wind up and impart massive topspin on her ground strokes, driving her opponents back through sheer weight of shot. The clash of these two distinct philosophies on the unique surface of Stuttgart adds another layer of intrigue. The Porsche Tennis Grand Prix is not your standard clay court tournament. Played indoors on a specially prepared clay surface, it plays significantly faster than the traditional outdoor red clay you will see in Madrid, Rome, or Paris. The indoor conditions eliminate the variables of wind and sun, allowing for much cleaner ball striking. but the clay still allows for sliding and demands exceptional movement. This faster clay could theoretically favor Leylah's flatter, early strike game, allow her to dictate the tempo, and prevent Alex from setting up her heavy topspin shots. However, Eala has historically performed exceptionally well on faster surfaces like hard courts, and she is actively working to translate that success to the clay. Her time in Spain means she is intimately familiar with the movement and point construction required on dirt. The player who can best calibrate their footwork to the slippery yet fast indoor clay, and the player who can establish baseline dominance early in the rallies, will hold the key to victory. We also cannot ignore the psychological subplot stemming from their recent encounter on the doubles court. Just 2 months ago, in February 2026, at the Abu Dhabi Open, Eala teamed up with Janice Jen to face off against Fernandez and Kristina Mladenovic. In a tightly contested match, Eala and Jen emerged victorious, winning a match tiebreak. While doubles is an entirely different beast than singles, that encounter offered both players an up-close, high-stakes look at each other's return games, serving patterns, and under-pressure decision-making. Eala knows she can hit through Fernandez in a competitive setting, and Fernandez knows she must find a way to neutralize Eala's power. That shared history, fresh in their minds, will undoubtedly influence their tactical game plans from the very first point. Beyond the tactics, the backhands, and the break points, there is a cultural phenomenon driving the immense interest in this match. We must acknowledge the unparalleled passion of the Filipino sports fan. Whenever a Filipino athlete competes on the global stage, whether it is Manny Pacquiao in the boxing ring, EJ Obaina in pole vaulting, or the national basketball team, the entire nation stops to watch. They trend on social media. They dominate local headlines, and they receive a level of fervent support that is rare in any sport. Alexandra Eala has become the focal point of that immense national pride in the realm of tennis. She is bringing new eyes to the sport, inspiring a generation of young children in the Philippines to pick up a racket. And then there is Leylah. The Filipino-Canadian connection is strong. When she made her U.S. Open run, Filipinos around the world claimed her as their own, celebrating her mother's heritage and her fighting spirit. Now, seeing these two women, both embodying the resilience and talent of the Filipino people, facing off on a stage as grand as Stuttgart, is a profoundly emotional moment. It is a win-win scenario for representation. Yet the competitive nature of the sport means that only one can advance. The phrase "all of Germany celebrated" from the viral headlines might be a hyperbole, but it accurately captures the magnitude of the event for the people who are emotionally invested. The Porsche Arena will be echoing with cheers, the energy will be thick, and the eyes of millions will be glued to their screens, witnessing a beautiful convergence of sport and cultural pride. As we look ahead to the moment the umpire calls play, it is clear that this first-round match at the Stuttgart Open carries the weight and anticipation usually reserved for the second week of a Grand Slam. Predicting the outcome of a match with so many variable factors is a daunting task, but ultimately boils down to a few critical battlegrounds. For Alexandra Eala, the key will be managing her emotions and dictating the terms of engagement with her heavy forehand. She must avoid being rushed by Leylah's early ball striking and ensure she keeps a high first serve percentage to protect her service games on the slick indoor clay. A victory here would be a monumental milestone in her young career. It would be a marquee win over a Grand Slam finalist, a massive boost of confidence for the European clay court swing, and a definitive statement that she is ready to transition from a rising star to a main tour threat. It would prove that the grueling hours at the academy, the intense pressure of national expectation, and the difficult losses on the journey were all building towards a formidable maturity. For Leylah Fernandez, the objective is to assert her experience and execute her aggressive game plan with relentless precision. She needs to utilize her superior court positioning to suffocate Eala's time, create sharp angles, and force the Filipina into defensive, uncomfortable positions. Leylah is in desperate need of a spark to ignite her 2026 season. A convincing win over a dangerous, highly motivated opponent like Eala could be the exact catalyst she needs to rediscover the magic that took her to the pinnacle of the sport. It would silence the doubters, reaffirm her status as a top-tier competitor, and build vital momentum as the tour marches toward Roland Garros. Leylah knows the margins are incredibly thin, and she will have to bring her absolute best tennis to court, relying on her trademark tenacity and refusal to yield, regardless of who walks off the court as the victor. The profound significance of this encounter remains intact. This match is a towering testament to the incredible growth, globalization, and diversity of women's professional tennis. It highlights how talent can blossom anywhere in the world, nurtured by dedication and supported by passionate communities. For the millions of Filipino fans tuning in from Manila, from Toronto, from the Middle East, and from right there in the stands in Germany, this is a moment of pure, unadulterated celebration. It is a visual representation that their athletes belong on the biggest stages, competing against the absolute best, and leaving an indelible mark on the history of the sport. We are witnessing two incredible ambassadors of the game, fighting for every point, not just for ranking points or prize money, but for the pride of their heritage and the love of the competition. As the tennis world focuses its gaze on Stuttgart, we want to hear from you. The beauty of a matchup this tightly contested is that it invites endless analysis and passionate debate. How do you see this historic clash unfolding? Will Alexandra Eala's heavy, clay court-bred power overwhelm the Canadian? Or will Leylah Fernandez's lightning-fast reflexes, early ball striking, and tour experience guide her to a crucial victory? Drop your detailed predictions, your tactical insights, and your messages of support for both of these incredible athletes in the comments section below. Do you think the faster indoor clay favors one player over the other? How much of a factor will their recent doubles match play in their mental preparation? I will be reading through your thoughts and joining the conversation down there. If you enjoyed this extensive deep dive into the Eala versus Fernandez matchup, please make sure to like the video, share with your fellow tennis enthusiasts, and hit that subscribe button with the notification bell turned on, so you never miss out on our comprehensive coverage of the WTA Tour, breaking news, and in-depth tactical analyses. The clay court season is officially underway. The stakes are rising every single day, and we are going to be right here to break down every thrilling moment. Thank you so much for spending your time with us, for your continued support, and for your incredible passion for the sport of tennis. We will see you next time for more in-depth coverage. But until then, enjoy the match, appreciate the history being made, and take care.